and shrink that down and go to the other one and see if you can look at it.
I will. Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's me, Michael Wilhelm with the Druid Smoke Show once again. And of course, over here next to me is my lovely Ganja Goddess. You know, Ganja Goddess with Club Sweetleaf and Oregon Sweetleaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club LLC. So anyways, today I guess we're just gonna, I want to kind of talk about a few things that I've been seeing in the news that's coming up, current issues and affairs that I think is kind of funny, and some of the new things that are taking place with the medical cannabis world currently. My coffee cup, you get that by chance? Oh, Dr. Sweetheart. So anyways, yeah, we've got some fun stuff coming up. First off, we've got some crazy shit happening with some things happening Midwest from here on the West Coast, where folks are experiencing really strange, phenomenal weather, and things are taking place down there on the west end of things, Midwestern part of the United States. It's kind of a real strange thing, but it all is related to what's coming from up north, right? Currently on our weather front, if you look at like our Doppler and all that other stuff, a lot of the weather, a lot of these folks are getting smashed with on the East Coast. If you look at how the wind current is going up there in the Great White North up there in Canada, you'll see that some of that Arctic wind is coming around Canada and kind of smashing along the West Coast and then kind of moving and skipping across the United States. It's kind of strange how the weather's acting right now. But, as you folks are struggling to stay warm tonight, man, here at the Druid Smoke Show, we're going to be smoking down on some good cannabis. We're going to be talking about all kinds of adventures, things that are taking place in the cannabis world. First thing I want to bring up is I want to give all of my supporters, anybody that watches the show, anybody that's currently involved in the cannabis industry that watches the show, I want to give you all a shout out. Much appreciated. And yeah, let's start this out right, I guess. I'll get out my little session piece. I get in this discussion with people about how cannabis has changed, the face of cannabis has changed over the years. And the discussion I usually end up finding myself in the most is the transport methods of smoking cannabis. There's a new class of people in this world that think that, vaporization and all that is the only way to go. And that's all fine and dandy. I understand the science behind that. I mean, we process oils in the garden club. We make CO2. We make alcohol and water extracts, ice extracts. But I guess the part that kind of blows me away a little bit is the fact that it's all from the same fucking plant, man. I mean, yeah, all you're really doing is taking the waxes and the oils and the trichomes off of the plant, but you're not doing any kind of different thing than I'm doing currently when I take this, say like this green nugget right here of Jack Hare, #1 cut, and I take it, I pack it in my piece bowl, my bowl like this, my little slider, and I come over here and grab my little hand instrument, and I take this device right here. See, bang. See, so there's not much difference between what I'm getting ready to do than what it is that you do when you have to take a blowtorch and heat, you know, a metal head or a ceramic head. You know, sometimes my friends, it get kind of, it's almost like there's a us against them type of theory when it comes to how a person smokes or the etiquette of somebody smoking. And I think that the only etiquette a cannabis user really needs to keep in mind when smoking cannabis is respecting other people around you. You know, it's real simple. Most of the time when people are smoking cannabis in a circle, the whole circle, it's usually about sharing and caring and respecting, you know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that us against them type theory, when it comes to, oh, dabbing is the only way to go, you know, there is no other way to roll.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, you're wrong about that. You know, dabbing might be just one way to roll, but you know what's nice about cannabis is it gives you a universal way to roll with it. So, I mean, if dabbing is your trip, then so be it. If burning a big fat bowl in a pipe is your big deal, then do it. If rolling a joint and burning down a couple joints is your bag, then far out, man. And you know, but don't knock us bong smokers. Don't, you know, us individuals that like our bongs. I myself love my bongs, and I encourage all glass artists across the world,
it's my favorite,
to keep making bongs. Don't, you know, I get the necessary need to make dab rigs. I don't understand why somebody needs to make a dab rig. It's about like this big and cost $9,000 to make. I don't understand those, but you know, that just kind of makes me feel fucky, you know, when you start thinking somebody spent $9 grand on a piece of glass that big. And what's really funny is there's not really much art to them at all. It's not like something you would get from, say, somebody like Bob Snodgrass or Redbeard, or somebody coming out of Galaxy Glass in Eugene, Oregon, or you know, there's a lot of phenomenal shit up at Mark Hare's place. I think that's Third Eye. You should check them out. He's got a phenomenal collection of glass available for the customers up there. That's local artists type stuff. So, you know, but when it comes to how we smoke our cannabis, whether it's an oil or a dab or whatever you're doing, man, it's all the same to me, because you still needed to use this plant material to blast your shit through through butane. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this butane lighter. I guess really isn't much difference, is there?
Not really, no way.
I like that double perk on that instrument. Oh, Jack Hare. Oh, Jack Hare.
It's good stuff.
Yes, yes. So I saw an article in the news from somewhere like in Minnesota. 8 postal workers got busted fucking going through people's mail and taking pot packages. Yeah. Yeah, that was posted in the news today. It was in the Huffington Post. You can check that out yourself, you know, if you want to go there. I'm not going to give you quotes or anything. It's at the Huffington Post. Anyways, they were talking about how postal workers were scanning packages and selecting out packages that had cannabis in the packages. And I thought that was pretty fucking funny. Because they're saying how the Postal Service has become actually gotten a boost in sales.
They got a boost in sales?
Yeah, the Postal Service, you know how for all these years the Postal Service has just been sucking fucking mud because of email and all that shit, right? and they've had to raise the postage and all that other bullshit. They said that they've actually gotten an increase in sales revenue since the legalization of cannabis.
And they're not even, is it even legal there?
I do believe so. I don't believe that is even a medical state.
New York is.
No, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, don't quote me if I'm right on whether the state's medical or not, Minnesota's medical or not, but that shouldn't matter really.
No.
I do know that the feds are still kind of being Nazis about it. You know, they're still playing their little fucky game about it. Oh, yeah, they're being Nazis about it. And the only reason I use that word is because it's so zionically used.
Yeah, everybody says it.
So fucking overused. Maybe I shouldn't use it.
You can say whatever.
I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. But the thing is, man, is the feds, some idiot who thought that the feds were uplifting shit, put some shit in the mail and sent it over state lines, and now he's held liable for some bullshit with the federal law. And so now, I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell people right now as it is. I think that they're gearing up for a total overtake, just like they did with tobacco. You know, if you go back and take a look at how many people produced tobacco, you know, say like the 1790s, 1777 to 1790, and then you look at how many people produced tobacco from that period today till to the day, and then you look at how many people produce tobacco, you'll find out that far less people produce tobacco today than people that did in the 1790s.
True.
And so it'll be no different with cannabis, because the money mongers and the dead, broken fiat machine will continue to convince the sheeple that everything is okay, and you know, go ahead and just buy our shit, subscribe to our program, don't read the fine print, never mind the fine print, just trust us because we're the guys with the red, white, and blue patches on our shoulders. Don't understand that theory. I was born in America. You know, I want to get that right off the bat. I come from a colonial family, I guess, because my family existed here during the colonial era. I've got relics hanging on my wall from a time gone of my family here in America. And, you know, all they are is relics.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Civil War saber right there, man. You know, I mean, all it really is a relic. Every time I look at it, it's just a relic of what my family went through to be called Americans. And it's almost fucking sad, you know, when you think about it, because look at what they're doing to our veterans today. I mean, look at this bullshit, farce, fake bullshit story that they've fictitiously made for our veterans today. You know, they want us to believe that all these boys and girls that are coming home from the Middle East and shit are going to be okay, and that, but what they're doing to them as soon as they come home after the glitz and the shininess of the pennies off, they end up being treated like fucking criminals and terrorists by their own government.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It is true.
And so it's kind of fucking crazy, you know, the transition, you know what I'm saying? That parallel shift.
Yep.
Between God bless America and fuck you, you are a fucked up vet with fucked up problems in your head and we'll never be able to trust you. So No matter how you look at it, the biggest aspect of the transition is that most folks they don't catch the drift, or the parallel shift of what's going to really take place. And as things are taking place now, like we talked on the last show about how everybody wants to believe prohibition is over, that 77 years of cannabis being illegal is over, and that's not the fucking truth at all. You couldn't get further from the truth when you talk about what's going on in cannabis, and so we as a community of people, whether you use cannabis, and I don't care what part of the world you're in, if you buy your cannabis and you have a choice, you have a choice. If you say, like, for instance, you had a whole row of stores down the street from your house, say there was 50 cannabis stores, and all 50 of them sold 50 different kinds of cannabis and 50 different things of products of different things you can do with cannabis, and each one of them had different prices, 50 different prices, from the cheapest to the most expensive. That might be a market that somebody would be willing to go buy their cannabis in. But that's not going to be the market I don't care whether you're in Colorado or anywhere else, because see, what's going to happen is, and they're already gearing for it, what's going to happen is once we all start turning legal, like Oregon did, like Colorado, Washington, Alaska, and a few others, once we all go legal, then the feds are going to say, oh, you guys are all fucking it up. Like they did the last time with our fiat, when Grover Cleveland said, oh, here's our gold. You're right. We'll fuck it up. We need to trust you with our gold. And then what? 2013, Bernanke gets up in front of the entire House, Senate floor, and says, the Federal Reserve hasn't owned gold since Grover Cleveland.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, man, but I don't believe your bullshit lie, government. So, and as much as we'd like to think that everybody's going to have a equal chance to have a competitive spirit and an entrepreneurial spirit, a small business, small can of business, the very idea of that happening is going to be obsolete, because here by 2016. The feds are going to turn around, maybe 2017. They're going to turn around and they're going to say, you guys are fucking shit up. Okay, so we're going to handle it from now on. So if you want pot, you want to grow it, blah, 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 you're going to have to subscribe to a federal system and a federal tax system. Just like tobacco, just like alcohol, just like firearms. Let's say it together, boys and girls. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms equals what? The federal agency known as ATF. Now, can we go ahead and discuss what ATF, how much blood is on ATF's hands? And now, I'm from Idaho, okay, and I can go ahead and talk a little bit about it. Because less than 75 miles from my hometown is a little mountain called Ruby Ridge. Okay. And there on that mountaintop, a man watched his wife, his child murdered in cold blood. Watched his friend get a bullet wound. Watched his daughter get hurt. Was starved out of his own home and called an evil monster. Now, when the ATF were forced to testify in regards to how Miss Weaver was murdered, the ATF agent said that while in the helicopter flying overhead with his high-powered rifle and high-powered scope attached therein, he took notice that it appeared to him as if she was armed. She was holding a weapon.
Yeah.
And of course, had he had looked through his high-powered scope and really seen what she was holding, he would have found out that she was holding a small infant baby. But instead, he didn't care. He popped her in the gourd and dropped her dead while she was holding her baby. Now, keep in mind, that's what ATF did to an innocent woman. They murdered her. End of story.
Yeah, they did.
The federal government fucking murdered her. Okay? Let's talk about the boy whose life was taken defending his own animal. You gotta remember, this boy, the agents shot his dog. He responded. How was this boy to know that these were agents? It appeared to him as if that these were fucking just some jackasses running around in the woods with some fucking guns and just decided to be heinous and shoot his fucking dog. And so he responded back by firing back. I would have done the fucking same thing. You come to my property and you shoot at my fucking dogs inside of my fence line, we're going to have some problems, you and I. They hit his dog, shot and wounded the dog. The dog laid there screaming as the little boy couldn't find out from what direction things were coming from. And so he ran up to his little dog and blam, he was killed. He was shot. And his last words was, "I'm coming home, Dad." That's the last words his father heard him yelling through the woods when he was headed towards the cabin was, "I'm coming home, Dad." And then he died. That little boy fell and died. He was murdered by the ATF. Okay, now I know, yeah, there's all this bullshit. But nobody will really, not very many people remember that because that's a time that's gone. And yet, they're the ones that are going to tell you, yeah, you're fucking things up. We're going to take control. I can go on and on about ATF. ATF fucked up fucking Waco. You know what I mean? Here's a bunch of religious freaks who have every evident right to protect and defend their own property. They weren't really guilty of anything. And because some state agency decided to make an investigation in the illegal and legitimate investigation without a search warrant, that is what got started into a gunfight. And, here's the thing. The feds never seem to remember the Constitution when they want to kick your fucking door in. In fact, it is the furthest from their education when it comes time for them to have a discussion with you. Okay? In fact, it's not even in their verbal vocabulary. So therefore, they don't know that it requires a search warrant and that you have the right to remain silent, and that you have the right to counsel. And they don't have any right whatsoever to infringe on your constitutional rights as a citizen, a sovereign citizen of this country. But yet, I just gave you several cases of ATF's fucking abuse that they got away with it. The guy that killed the woman and the child, they got higher offices. Okay? The people that burned out all those women and children and David Koresh at Waco, they all got higher offices. They all got medals. Okay? They got medals for that bullshit. All right? That's what we do in our country. Don't you fucking know that? we shit on the fucking true Americans. You know, I've got a good friend right now that's laying up on his deathbed, not doing well. I don't know how much longer I've got of it, you know, how much more time I got with him. I've gotten, I think out of all the friends that I have that are of the Vietnam era that's left, he's the only one I have left, really, that I know of, other than Manny. I still know Manny. If you're watching, I love you, brother. But you know, I don't know very many Vietnam veterans that I've worked with over there. There's not very many of them left, and he seems to be like, you know, next to one of the last ones that I know of, and that I've worked with, and that I love and respect, and revere like a father, and in fact I call him dad. You know, here's a guy that, you know, went to Vietnam and then got out and then volunteered to go back a second time, man, just because he missed, you know, trying to help his brothers out. And he's decorated, and you know, here's a guy that the world, you know, said, red, white, and blue, yes, sir, God bless you, here's your medals. You did, you know, thank you for your service to America. Oh, no, you can't grow cannabis. We're going to send you to prison. You know, he went through hell. This guy went through fucking hell, man. And, you know, he never killed anybody in America. I mean, he never broke any laws or anything really serious. And yet he was demonized by his own government that he, you know, served in 2 tours in combat in Vietnam. And yet, you know, this guy was demonized, you know, and how the Veterans VA treats him and how the Veterans Association treats him right now, they treat him like the same fucking garbage that we're treating him when he first came home, like he told me, you know. It's the same line of bullshit, just a different day. That's what he usually tells me when I ask him how things are going with the veteran stuff. You know, and why should a Vietnam vet have to go, a decorated Vietnam vet? Why should he have to go through that kind of fucking horse shit is beyond me. I don't even understand that. And so, and then when I go out on the streets, the other day I was out on the streets, and I ran into an Iraq vet from the second run, you know, and I asked him, I said, what are you doing? I said, are you trying to get a job or something? And he goes, they won't hire me because my PTSD is really bad. And I'm trying to get my disability approved, you know, so that I can try to get some therapy paid for. But VA is telling me that I've got to wait, and that might be 5 or 6 years down the road before I can get into treatment. And I said, well, how long have you been home? And the guy said, well, I've been home for about 6 months. I just came back. They let me go on a medical, so I'm no longer in the military, and I just don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, well, were you dishonorably discharged? And he's like, no. He goes, I got an honorable discharge, a medical discharge, but an honorable one. And I said, well, fuck, man, you know, what about like going to some shelter or something, getting into a shelter at least, because it was cold as fuck outside, you know. I said, there's shelters downtown, and he goes, well, I would do that too, but except for I have a really hard time with religion, and the only way I can get food down there is if I have to go to their church, and I have to listen to their music and stuff like that. And I just have a really hard time sitting in a church with a bunch of people around me. It kind of sends my anxiety up. And I was like, that's cool. I understand that. I'd be the same way. I'd be freaking out if I had to sit in a church too. I totally understand. You know, and I said, fuck, man. I said, well, so do they give you a bed? And he goes, no, they won't even give you a bed if you don't go to their church. So, And that's like two different agencies. There was Salvation Army and there was Union Gospel Mission. Those are the two prevalent in our area, Union Gospel Mission and Salvation Army, and they wouldn't really work with him, you know. And he goes, I was willing to sweep the floors and clean and stuff as long as I didn't have to go to church. I told them that I would do some other chores or something, you know, offer my services somewhere else, you know, so I could eat and get a bunk, but they wouldn't do that. They told me that I had to go to their church. And that's just wrong, man. You shouldn't force somebody's religion down somebody's throat when all they're trying to do is get a little help. Religion has nothing to do with helping. Because if religion had something to do with helping, then there would be no need for Islam, and there would be no need for Christianity, and there would be no need for Judaism, and there'd be no need for Catholicism or Mormonism or any of those other religions. So if religion was effective, then that would be the case. And unfortunately, in our world, it's just a bunch of bullshit, crazy fucking shit that doesn't make any sense. Everybody's killing everybody over it, and it's a sad and unfortunate fact that I think we could do without. So, you know, there's other things to believe in, you know, like yourself, the things that inspire you. Your higher power could be just literally the natural law that is presented around you. So, but most importantly, I think that the higher sense is that we all join together and you know, be able to do more for each other, sharing and caring, you know.
Tony's watching us right now. Say hi.
And of course, hey, what's up, son?
He's watching on his PS4.
His PS4. Beyond all that, beyond the scope of all that, man, you know, I think the people in this world need to come together on a couple general consensuses, and I think those consensuses are going to be that what's happening right now isn't really being talked about, you know. Instead, we're talking about all the things that don't matter. And, you know, I was watching this thing on Vice tonight, and they were over in Greenland, and they're up there where the Arctic shelves are at, and they're showing how these shelves are just falling off. Big, huge chunks of ice, these blue chunks of ice just falling down. And the scientist that was with the reporters wanted them to camp out along the edge of this ice shelf so that they could hear overnight how loud it is overnight of the sound of all this ice falling off. And
I heard that.
Fucking, it was crazy, man. It sounded like there was a thunderstorm out there, man. It was insane.
Tony says, what up, Pops? Preach that shit. He likes to hear you talk.
So, you know, universally, all mankind is going to have to answer to that natural law, man. You know, when man no longer accepts that he has an end, and he's young and he's vibrant and he's muscular and he's full of power and he feels like he could stand on top of the mountain, it's then that he's blinded to the causes of natural law. And it's through that living that he lives rigorously, blindly, with all abandon to the realism of natural law, until finally at the very end of that reckoning, when a man has reached his prime and has climbed those mountains and collected those feathers in his cap, that he realizes, what in the fuck was I doing? What a bunch of bullfuckery, you know? And so I think that man needs to get a grip, realize that there's more to fucking live for than themselves. You know, I fucking love the people I help. I love working in the field that I'm in. You know, the patients that I work with, it's important for me to say that they are the whole reason cannabis exists. It's for the sick person, okay? If cannabis cures leukemia in children, all right, folks, then let's not believe the bullshit hype that is being fed to us about, oh, well, this is why we got to let suits, ties, cops, and lawyers, capitalists, and bankers fucking rule our cannabis field. It's so that they can protect the children. But I ask you this. Less than 5 nights ago, a man back east was arrested for having fucking problems mentally. He was having a mental breakdown. He was arrested for domestic violence. He was pulled away from his family, including a stepdaughter, all right, arrested and sent to jail. Now, why the man was in fucking jail, all right, he was like, okay, I'll be better now, and they just let him go on his own OR. They just OR'd the dude, right? Okay, now, after they OR'd the dude, less than 2 hours after they OR'd the motherfucker, he goes home to the same house he was arrested for domestic violence, grabs this fucking 6-year-old little girl, and throws her off the balcony of his apartment, and fucking she falls to her death. And I'm supposed to trust a motherfucker with a badge on his chest? You know, I'm supposed to trust that they're going to fucking keep my community safe for my grandchildren, for my children, for my family? Fuck all that bullshit, man. That's why I sleep with one fucking eye open always, because I have a large family and I'm responsible for a lot of shit. So, you know, I don't just sit and smoke pot all fucking day, man. I got all kinds of crazy shit I'm responsible for. And so, you know, I ain't trusting nobody with no fucking badge on their chest. You know? Everybody says, oh, the black guy's getting fucking blown away all the time. Yeah, that's true. That's very true that that's happening. Ain't nobody going to deny that the cops are fucking going crazy and just shooting motherfuckers at random. There's no doubt in my mind. I have seen, hey, it's called Live Leaks, man. If you don't know it, go check it out. All right. And while you're there at Live Leaks, there's a wonderful little thing called search, a big hourglass next to it. Type in their lapel video and watch all these fucking full ass cops, man. Just roll up to the fucking scene. And if a motherfucker farts wrong, twitches backwards, gave birth to his firstborn, he's getting fucking blasted. That's all there is to it. They are automatically suspected of getting blasted. Fucking crazily. In fact, I don't even understand why cops carry fucking tasers. Can somebody please tell me why fucking cops carry tasers, batons, and fucking mace? That's it right there. There's the good question I have. What's the point, you fucking retarded bacon-eating, donut-loving motherfuckers? What's the point of carrying a baton, mace, and a fucking taser when all you're going to do anyways is just pull out your fucking 9 and gat them motherfuckers in their dome? That's what you're doing. So I just wanted to know. You know, for the cop that fucking killed Michael Brown, man, dude, why did you even carry mace? Why were you carrying a baton? All right? What was the point of that? The mace and the baton were just extra fucking weight that were getting in your fucking way in the first place from you doing your job because you didn't even want to use them. It wasn't even in your fucking head to use those things. you pussy motherfucker. And what did you say to the fucking jury, dude? Oh, wait a minute. What was it? I was afraid he was too big. Well, then get out of the fucking field, dude. If you can't handle the fucking heat, get the fuck out of the job. Put your badge down and step the fuck away, man. Okay? Because that was your excuse for killing Michael Brown, was because you were afraid of your life because of his size. He was the size of a giant, blah, 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 blah. Well, what are you doing being a cop for then, Mr. Tough Guy? Thought, oh, that's right, because you're hiding behind a 9, you motherfucker. You know, no wonder the world fucking hates you now, you stupid fucking cop. Don't rear your fucking head in my community, you dumb fucking cheese-eating fucking rat. What about that 9-year-old boy? Okay. What? I saw the video. The cop had a fucking big, huge walkie-talkie and had a fucking a baton all strapped in his fucking side, and he had mace and a taser belt and he had all kinds of crazy shit on his web belt. But did he pull any of that fucking bullshit on that 9-year-old? No, dude. He went for his 9. And he fucking pumped that little fucking 9-year-old full of fucking holes. Justified? What? Oh, yeah, it was justified because he was carrying an airsoft gun that didn't possess an orange tip. So automatically, the cop's life was in danger. And, you know, irregardless of the fact that this fucking fool-ass, you know, piece of fucking bacon had a fucking baton, had fucking mace, had a fucking one of those shootable tasers that shoot fucking electrical rods, you know. Why didn't he use a taser on the fucking 9-year-old?
Yeah, why not?
You know? I mean, if you felt the little fucker had a gun, tase his fucking ass. Zap! You know?
Kill him.
Dude, Michael Brown, if you were talking about Michael Brown, man, if he was so big and you were all afraid, big badge wearing fucking bullshit little punk bitch, little pussy, you know, you were talking about how, you know, he was too big and he scared you, but yet you had mace and you had tasers and all that bullshit, dude. Tase the motherfucker, and if the big motherfucker comes at you, fucking mace the motherfucker, and if he keeps coming at you, beat him over the fucking head with your club, man. You didn't need to fucking shoot the motherfucker in his chest. Stupid motherfuckers. Why do we need to go there? Please. What about a woman, just like not too long ago, a woman was coming home from a family event. She was in the minivan, and she had her children in the minivan. All right? And she was putting along, you know, and in the minivan with her kids, she was trucking along down the road, and she gets pulled over by the cops. All right, so she pulls over. You can view the cop dash cam. It's on Live Leaks. Just type mother and minivan. It's like one of the most viewed on Live Leaks. Anyways, she pulls over, and then the cops go up to her, you know, and there's 2 cops in the cruiser, you know, and they kind of lean up against the side of her van, and they're looking really weird looking, you know. And the cops walk up, and they're asking her to roll her window down. And of course, the woman is scared, frightened out of her mind, because not soon before that, another individual had been fucking murdered, and so by somebody who was posing like a cop in that very vicinity. And so, and it was all over the news, and so it scared the shit out of her because she had small little kids in the back of her van. And so she said, "Look, I'm going to drive up to the next rest stop up there where there's more public people, so that we can deal with our business. I want to get off the road." And the cops were like, "No, you can't fucking do that. You got to stop," you know. And she's like, "Look, I don't care." And she goes, "If you want to see my license and stuff, we're going to pull off the freeway because I have children in the van, and I want to go up there where it's more public so that it's more safer for me and my family." And the cops were like, no, you can't do that. And she just started to drive away. And as she started to drive away, the cop that was on the passenger side of the cop car immediately pulled out his fucking sidearm and just started laying rounds in the back window of that van.
Oh, that was horrible.
And there was children. There was little kids strapped in car seats in the back of the van. All right. But what was really funny is this happened right about the time when Joan Rivers passed. And so it got no mention. It got no anything, you know. And so nobody really mentioned that you know, that this woman was shot at or children were shot at. And then all of a sudden on Live Leaks, here comes the video. So, you know, yeah, the cops are definitely out to fucking do some blasting. And, you know, I mean, I don't think it's a color thing either. I mean, yeah, blacks are definitely getting shot and blasted at, but man, I see Mexicans getting blasted. I see white people getting blasted. I see people of all different colors getting blasted. I don't just see one color of people getting blasted here, you know? So maybe we should just say that human lives matter, and that should be the world message, is that human lives matter, and that no religion, no fucking amount of religion in the world is worth the cost of a human life. Maybe that's what we should say, you know, kind of like the Buddhists do, you know.
That makes much more sense to me.
I think so. I mean, I think it should be all human life matters. All human life matters. That's what it needs to say, you know. And you fucking cops with your fucking trigger happy fucking shit, you dudes need to slow down on your fucking steroids. Start smoking some more weed. Because we know you got to be smoking some fucking weed in there, but come on, man, get off the laboratory shit and come over to the green side and, you know, start using your fucking tasers again and start using your mace again. Stop fucking being pussies, you pussy bitch little fucking cops.
Gosh, even in England, they don't use guns, and they don't
have very many problems.
No.
Them fucking bobbies will beat your fucking head in with their clubs. I've got friends in England. I have friends in England, and they fucking told me, man, them bobbies over there will fuck you up. And they don't use guns; they use clubs. They have a special SWAT task force that does carry weaponry, but they're only called to scenes where weaponry is being used. It's not generally the street bobby that carries a weapon. So the point being is, man, we just need to get along, man. We need to smoke more weed. As the hippies say, smoke more ganja, man.
More ganja.
Oh, which reminds me, be aware, all of you brand junkies, you know, the new guys that will sell your firstborn for a logo made in a sweatshop. It's not my bag of deals, but here's the deal, man. Philip Morris is in fact going to be releasing their brand of cannabises, and so I don't want to hear no more bullshit about oh, there is no such thing as GMO cannabis. Because let me get this straight with you. In the history of Philip Morris, they have never changed their fucking tactics. They've done business the same way they've always fucking done business. And they will continue to do business with Monsanto's. And I want you to be reminded that Monsanto's is guilty of about 97% of the poisoning of our food supply in America. And so, you know, what looks like a pear isn't a pear. What looks like a peach isn't a peach. What looks like a tomato is not a fucking tomato. And simply put, it's just a matter of you growing a brain and figuring that out. If you can't, I'm very sorry, but if you look at, if you go type European GMO study 2014, you will find European scientific research that was done at the biochemistry level on American geo-modified organisms. And so, with genetically modified organisms, you know, people said, oh, what's the difference between us, you know, mixing this and that? Well, the only difference is that I'm mixing one cannabis plant with another cannabis plant, and I'm letting them breed naturally. So I'm not interfering with their breeding process. I'm allowing each to do their job. I'm allowing the female to be the carrier of the future. The future young, and I'm allowing the male to pollinate the female so that she can be the carrier of the future. That process has been going on in the cannabis world for millions of years. I mean, us humans, we've only been doing it for about 40,000 years. We've only been carrying it around on us, smoking it, using it for about 40,000 years. And there really is no new way of smoking it, you kids. I'll have you know, because if you just go to your Google chat bar, all you gotta do is just Google up the word temple ball hash, or Google up Moroccan hash, or Google up something like that, and you'll find out that they've been dabbing for, you know, close to 2,500 years. And, you know, so there's no new science to dabbing. Okay, dabbing there's nothing new about dabbing. Because they collect the heads and trichomes and beat it all out and stuff like that. So the dabbing theory just goes right out the window. So there goes the idea with the dabbing ideas. So there's nothing new about dabbing. In fact, folks that are in the dispensary business are looking to get into the dispensary business. There isn't anything new about the dispensary business either, because the black market's been doing it for 40,000 years too. So, you know,
that's a long time.
And so that's an old fad. It's all old stuff. I mean, there's really nothing new about the concept of dispensaries and the concept of cannabis, because us humans have collectively been using cannabis for 40,000 years. So if you're telling me that what we're doing today in 2000, oh, wait a minute, today's 2015, right, Ganja?
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Today is 2015.
That's right.
2015
so,
already.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what am I going to see you coming?
Yeah.
Huh?
Butthead.
Butthead.
Anyways, you know, with 2015, there's nothing too much new about cannabis other than we've got some suits, ties, and lawyers, and some bigwigs that think that by hiring more politicians and lobbyists that they'll be able to take control of everything. You are very, very deceived. I know. Look at my beautiful dog in the background, babe. Move back for a minute.
Oh, look at Hellbell.
I want to show everybody Hellbell. Yeah.
Hellbell.
No, let her lounge. I want to show them lounging. Want to move for a minute?
You can see it right there.
I want to show them how she lounges.
Oh.
Look at how she lounges. I think she knows she's being watched.
Pretty baby girl.
I know. I think she knows she's being watched.
But beware, she likes red meat.
So, yeah, man, all you kids got to do is just go look at Moroccan hash and find out that's the purest of the purest, the finest of the finest. No matter what you do to it, it's all cannabis.
Oh, my body.
It all gets converted into this, okay? And if you want to beat the oils and take out the waxes and shit using butane, go at it, man. Just don't blow yourselves up, okay? Because you are somebody's child, and I'm sure your parents care about you, regardless of what you may do. So,
where'd you go, Tommy?
Anyways, as I always say, free the plant.
And the rest of
I'm going to have this bong hit, you know, as we always traditionally have on the Druid Smoke Show. We always traditionally smoke a good rip for all of those great masters that have gone before us, those great individuals that have believed in something that nobody else would believe in. They thought that, you know, the whole world thought that they were lunatics, and now you've got all the world's wealth gathering around it and celebrating it. So, you know, here's to you, all you great masters that are now in the wind, man. Here's to you, all you great mistresses that are now in the wind. For all the goddess mothers that have given to this planet and have given life and created it. Remember, all good things come from a vagina. That is the truth. And so, good and bad sometimes. Because let's not forget, Jeffrey Dahmer was a baby. But to
his mother loved him a lot,
but his mom loved him a lot.
Even in the end. Maybe too much. Ooh.
But to the masters and to the mistresses of cannabis that are no longer with us, you know, your spirit is living on. Your spirit's living on in the fact that we can sit here and say this is our tribute to you, and we're thankful for the fact that you endured the punishment and you endured all of the things that you went through, so that we, the next generation, could see our children be free from this thing. And we'll continue this fight for you, great masters. You know, Jack Hare, you know, I always go to you, and I think the reason I do is because you literally opened the world's eyes to freedom and independence, and you gave the world the knowledge of information that has been there all along in front of their faces. It's just that there was never a patriot strong enough like yourself to go out and show the world, to educate the world about hemp and about its power and about what it can do and what it can do for the world. And, you know, from a medical perspective, I hope that one day we can make this the most legitimate, legitimate thing in the world. And there's no reason why we're not, and we haven't already. And I hope that it's people like you, Jack Hare, that are remembered. It's people, you know, like so many. The list just goes on. Dreamer, God, man, there's so many people I know of that personally that have been affected by this that aren't here anymore. Let's have that for them.
Maybe someone looking for that channel.
So remember, man, as we always say, free the plant and share and care. Free the plant, share and care. Free the plant, share and care. The rest will follow, folks. I think I'm going to go ahead and, you know, just have you guys just remember all those other individuals tonight that are living in war-torn America and living under the thumb of,
We got people coming.
you know, great things. It's pretty bad. Is everybody looking at what's going to be happening this year as we look at legalization? It's my understanding that by July 4th, I think it is,
Yeah.
folks will be allowed to have 4 plants per household if they're recreational. And that is literally it. That's all you can have. If you are in our region and are looking to figure that out, and you're thinking maybe some cannabis independence is important to you, maybe you don't want to pay that additional $35 additional ounce tax. Maybe you're not going to want to pay $35 a gram for cannabis when it goes legally for sale recreationally. What I recommend you doing is looking at trying to get yourself a membership in Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival's Cannabis Garden Club. And what you can do to get involved in the Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club and Club Sweet Leaf and Sweet Leaf Farms is simply, very simply, just by getting a hold of Ganja Goddess at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival at yahoo.com.
Right.
And I did it. I got it.
You did it.
I'm not that stoned.
Nope, you never are.
And just tell her, hey, I'm interested. I want to get some freedom. I want to do this for myself. I'm ready to step up to the next level and do this for myself. I'm tired of corporate weed and paying out my nose for it. If that's you, she's the lady for you to set up with for your prospecting. At Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, Cannabis Garden Club, its membership is a prideful one. And the people that are involved are truly 100% cannabis activists. These are people that have businesses involved in cannabis. These are people that are cannabis cultivators. There's people that are glass artists, and there's people that are musicians. She manages a wide plethora of things in regards to what Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club does. Now, a lot of folks ask us what Cannabis Garden Club, what the whole moniker of what it is. And so what we say to folks is that when, a lot of times we get hit up and they say, oh, you're a dispensary, and we're like, no, we're not a dispensary.
Nope.
We're a Cannabis Garden Club with the membership of about 4,700 individuals now across the state of Oregon, all of them mostly medical marijuana patients and medical marijuana growers. And what the Cannabis Garden Club stands for is they stand to maintain their dignity. It's because it's all about patients. It's all about sick folk. And so these sick folk that are going to the club, that are memberships of the club, they want to have a voice. All these sick people that have paid their taxes, paid for their fees to the state year after year to be a patient, they want to be identified. Hey, it was not easy to be a patient, and for you to just say that we're not legitimate because recreation has all of a sudden became legal is just a foul and wrong thing to say. And so, that's what Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club LLC is about. Yeah. It's about patients who want a voice. It's about patients who want to be heard, want to be have the opportunity to present their voice to people like OLCC who want to say they don't have an opinion. Irregardless of the fact that most of the sick people that pay into the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, they pay a hard amount of money. It's not easy for them to pay that money. even at a reduced rate, it's not easy. So, I mean, it costs them. And then on top of that, these people, they have to drive to a doctor, and some of these people have to drive hundreds of miles to a doctor to get cannabis approval. And then when they do get cannabis approval, the state doesn't tell them where to go, okay? And then, of course, now that the new dispensary law says that dispensaries can't take safety packets, then that means that all the new patients that have safety packets waiting for, or renewals waiting for their card
3 months out
are 3 months out. And there's 75,000 medical marijuana patients, caregivers, and growers currently in the state of Oregon. So, long story short, Jack Hare, number one. Woo, woo, woo. Long story short, these patients are pretty much left out in the cold and really have nowhere to go. So we try to give them that option. And so, with Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club, Emily, Ganja Goddess has been involved in this since 2010. It was founded by, a wonderful group of people and assembled by some very, very active cannabis activists in our state already since the law. And so, we encourage you to check that out for sure, man. And that's at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club. You can check it out there, or you can go to Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, at yahoo.com.
That's our email. Mm-hmm. And we're still going to open a club.
Yep.
We're still waiting for the keys.
Club Sweet Leaf is going to be opening.
It's going to be open as soon as
that's a pretty exciting time. Club Sweet Leaf, when that opens up, you're invited. You're invited to come down and listen to live music.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna have food cooked by chefs.
We're gonna have. It was going to happen around the 1st of January, but the people that are in the building haven't gotten the keys to their new building yet, so we're waiting for them. So it's a long story, but it's happening hopefully soon.
Really soon, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And we will keep all of everybody posted and updated on what's going on. And also, we want to let everybody know that we've got we've got about 7 new strains that are going to be introduced here this spring. And those 7 brand new strains, we're going to be putting up their seed stock available, and you guys will be able to get that if you just subscribe.
The name of one of the new strains, and the one I want you to say. The new one that you just developed.
Oh. Okay. Well, we have Twisted Brown Trucker, and what Twisted Brown Trucker is a lot of my fans and friends and stuff that have been into cannabis for a long time and been smoking or processing or growing cannabis, mostly my grower friends, have really kind of cultivated their own burley. And what we call burley, to most folks, they don't understand that meaning, that term. But in Oregon, amongst us grower circles, we call it burley because that's usually the grower's choice. And, when we're cultivating our cannabis, there's certain much cannabis that we cultivate that we just give to the general public. And then there's a certain amount of cannabis that we cultivate that is specifically grown for those people that are really super sick. I cultivate cannabis. I have a garden that's specifically dedicated to oil processing so that I can have the oil because I work in hospice, and that's the first medicine I usually start my hospice patients out on is oils. And so there is no smoking when you're on your deathbed. It's you usually want to try to eat and ingesting. And so maybe a little bit later on. But the thing is when we're growing that garden is specifically a CBD rich, CBN rich garden that has specifically been a tested strain that we're working on. Well, what we've done is we've taken out one of our proven CBD winners, and that's our Shishkaberry that we've carried for, you know, the last 2 years now. And we've got ourselves some beautiful examples of Shiskiberi males. You know, when you're popping seed stock, a lot of folks kind of get it mixed up a little bit because most people mess with clones, okay? But when you're in a cannabis garden club, you're looking for, you know, for when you got that many people in your cannabis garden club, you're looking for phenomenal strains. You're looking for strains that cannabis gardeners that have been doing it for 20 years want, okay? And so we go for our seed-based strain. And so we pop, you know, about 100 seeds at a time. And out of that lot of 100, we usually end up only selecting probably about 50 of them. And then what we do from there is we watch that 50 grow. And then if fortunate, you know, the process of us finding a male is kind of very, very limited. I mean, we don't normally run into males. A lot of people say, oh, I have problems with that, but I don't. Normally, my males are like winning the lottery. If I get a male, it's like, holy fuck, we got a male. I even tell her, I'm like, holy shit, we got a male, you know? And so, and then we found ourselves a Shiskiberi male, and fuck, man, just turned out to be one healthy bastard. And we decided to put him together with Northern Lights. So.
Look at my rune throat toss for happening right now.
Right on.
Transitions and physical shifts are occurring now. Steady growth and development slowly accumulate. As I cultivate my own nature, all else follows. Face the future with assurance.
Right on. So with Twisted Brown Trucker, you're talking Shiskiberi, which is a really award. If you look at her, she's an award-winning. She's a very award-winning strain. If you go back, I think she won, what was it, 2010 San Francisco Cup.
I think, I'm not sure
for medical strains.
But she did win an award.
She won a CBD award. So what we did is we took that and mixed it with the Northern Lights and made a nice burley. Now with Northern Lights traditionally has gotten this mixed review. Some people say that Northern Lights, you know, is just phenomenal, has a phenomenal award, and actually does. Northern Lights does have a lot of awards. But the thing about it is, what we like about Northern Lights is it's always the cut that we breed, that we use in our seed stock is always consistent. The sim structure is always consistent. Our indoor hydro yields are always consistent. Our outdoor sun-grown yields are always consistent. And so, you know, Northern Lights gives up so many potentials. And by giving up so many potentials, there's a lot to be said about it. When you start looking at certain things in the characteristics of the phenos, traditionally, there's been that skunky diesel overtone, and there's always been that hint of lemon with some of those blues or some of those grapey undertones. But what our Northern Light strain does is it's actually kind of a blueberry tone. With being able to get access to those Alaskan first cuts, it's always been a blessing in our garden club, because with that Northern Lights, we happened upon it by one of our Alaskan fans. And, you know, that fucking plant is blue, man. It's phenomenal in its color. I've got pictures of it on my Facebook and everything else.
I'm sure I don't know how to chat yet on here.
I haven't figured that out yet either.
If you want to chat or ask any questions,
I'll just open up the chat bar.
onto one of the links.
The group chat. I've got it on group chat.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
It don't work, huh? I've
tried and it says.
Is everybody having problems with it?
I don't know. But that's what.
Let's see.
Just
welcome to all of my viewers. Definitely so. Present to everyone. Huh?
Just ask questions on one of the links that I've shared. or on a Facebook Messenger, or send me a message, because I'll get it. On Facebook.
Yeah.
On our Facebook, send me a message, and I'll get it. And he'll answer your questions.
So, what basically we're doing with Northern Lights, our first cut, we just mixed that with our Shishka berry with this beautiful male example. And we did that for about a year, and now we're looking at maybe doing a crossover just to see what its return is. And its last yield was really nice. And what we like about Northern Lights, even when we breed it with something else, the structure always seems to stay the same in the plant. And, you know, when you're talking about doing grows for yourself or grows for multiple patients, you want something that's going to give you an ultimate yield for those patients that you're working for. And, you know, our patients really like the sativas. It seems to be something they really request a lot of. But what we're really working on is trying to make sure they get the prime sativas with whatever numbers we can get up there when we do the breeding. And so by bringing in Shishka berry, it was like a no-brainer for us. So with having the stock available to our garden club, thanks to a certain individual, thanks, Tom, we appreciate that. That's, you know, been able to do a lot. So, you know, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about what's taken place with our developments with Twisted Brown Trucker. Our second pheno cut that we're making out is one that I think is going to give kind of a strawberry cough, a punch in the nose. I hate to say it, but it is true. I'm really excited to say this. I'm not sure if much people remember the Tangy or the Tangy strain of the early 90s or not. I'm sure there's a few old potheads that do. But we got our hands on some Tangy, and by having that Tangy, we were able to come together. And for some reason, the Tangy that we were producing has a strawberry pink note to it.
Wonderful.
We've got photos of it, and it's got just these wonderful, beautiful colors. But it's always got this strawberry fruity note to it, no matter how you finish it. No, whether you're doing hydro, no whether you're doing soil, whether you're doing outdoor, sun-grown, hothouse, I don't care what you're doing with the plant. It always seems to produce the same kind of phenos. It's really nice. It's a very hardy plant. It produces a good yield. Indoor yields are, you know, you're talking top yield about, you know, 5 to 7 ounces if you do it right. And so, you know, it's a really nice plant, and I like the turnaround. So, and the fact that it's pretty hardy is pretty amazing too. So genetics, and we crossed it over with our petrichor. Now, petrichor produces one of those Heinz 57 flavors of all phenos, and it's one of those burley cuts. And so, you know, when you cure it, it just turns to frosty ice. You know, you can look it under a microcam, and it's just frosty ice. So it's really nice looking flower. But it's a heavy yielder, and it's a dense yielder. It's not a very airy bud. It's a very dense, compact type bud. We have buds, you know, with a petrichors. You know, right here's some petrichor. See, P for petrichor. Right here's some petrichor buds. I'm not sure my camera will do justice, but it's very, it's very tight. And so this is some of my ital cut shift, and these are just my examples of some of the indoor tops. And I really like their development. They've got a really nice dance nugget. Everything is cut nice and clean. And they smell really nice. There's a huge bud in here too. There's one in here that weighs like up to, I think, like a 1/4 ounce.
Probably.
Some of my bigger tops from indoor. So anyways, some of those buds though, they stay consistent, you know, and that's what we did with petrichor. That's why we never lose. That's why we're really happy with it. So by bringing petrichor to the table with this, you know, we have about 80 years of its pollen, so we're not really losing too much there when it comes to breeding. We can breed it with whatever we want. We like the pheno. It tastes wonderful. We fucking love its fucking flavor. It's there, consistent, and it's burley. So that means you can blast it into shatter, dabs, ice, do ice water extract with it. You're going to get phenomenal trichome development, both indoor and outdoor. So, in fact, you know, that brings me to trichome. There's been a lot of misconception about how much trichome really does the plant possess. And it doesn't, you know, I don't care if we're going to talk strains, we're going to talk about sativas, we're going to talk about indicas, but some plants are considered hash plants, or plants that produce more comb than others. That's not to be argued. You're not going to argue that point. However, there are 7 individual different types of trichome that are produced on all cannabis plants. All cannabis plants produce 7 different types of trichome. So not just on the flower either, okay? We're talking on the stem and the stamen and the leaf. There's trichome of 7 different kinds, and they've all been intrinsically designed. So you can look at them, and they all have different shapes. They all usually look like a little pistol. You know, one has a head, the other one's straight and barbed, another one is kind of bent. Some of them are just kind of straight, hanging out the side of the stem. But there are 7 different kinds of trichome. Now, and those trichome vary in thickness based on where they are on the plant, okay? So there are 7 different variances of thickness and depth of the trichome on the plant itself. So most people will take stem and shit and just throw it away, throw it out for their refuse. We've been able to school people on taking that stem fresh frozen and then washing the wax and the trichome off of it, and watching just how much trichome and wax they get off their stem. They find out they get more off of it than they do off their flower. So trying to convince people that we need to start identifying all of the medicine on the plant, not just the buds, okay, not just the trichome on the buds. We need to look at the whole plant and how we can collectively start, you know, taking advantage of all of those trichomes, and instead of just seeing so much go to waste, because I do see a lot of it, and it's crazy how it happens. You know, people take, you know, leaf, and they'll take, you know, whatever, and they'll just throw it away. Flower only. So my point being,
and I told them, if they want to ask us any questions, send me a message.
Jack Hare #1. What a good cut. I don't know, most people go, oh, you know, I like Jack Hare. It's got a nice flavor, man. It's light. You know, it's got a very light diesel hint.
They're really good.
Good tasting Jack Hare #1 cut, man. That's a good cut right there. That's a decent one. I can thank my good friend Solar Bull. You know, that's another thing that's nice to be a cannabis farmer is that if you know other cannabis farmers, we usually exchange each other's stuff because we get tired of our own stuff. So we go, hey, and the guy goes, hey, I got some Jack. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, I got some of this. Oh, shit, dude. So we trade like we used to when we were kids and play with marbles and shit. Except for now, we trade weed.
Yes.
I want to thank all my viewers, man, for everybody that watches us, tunes into the Druid Smoke Show. It means a lot. If you guys have any questions, concerns, you know, anything you want to have questions answered about stuff, you can contact Ganja Goddess at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival at yahoo.com or
through the Facebook.
Or through her Facebook, like you guys normally do.
Even on this show, because I can't.
I do a lot of. I'm really involved in the garden spaces. So you know, as a state gardener for the garden club, I'm really involved. Kind of stretched out a little bit. I have been. I've got some exciting news. Our newest member, Great Beard. He is up and well, doing things, getting running. He's got, you know, I'm really excited to see what he's going to produce. I mean, I always get excited when a new grower joins our garden club. And the reason I do get excited is because when you start seeing them get creative in there, you know what I mean? When you see them in their grow space and you can see in their eyes that this is what they're going to be doing, you know, it's really exciting to see growers collectively working together, you know what I mean? And working together to make it work for each other, because that's what makes growers in our community strong, you know. We're not going to be invalidated by the suit and tie lawmaking, lawyer, money mongering fuck. And you know, we're not going to believe that prohibition is over, because it's not when you're paying $1,000 an ounce in Pullman. If you know, if you want me to be convinced that prohibition's over, then go ahead and stop selling cannabis for $1,000 an ounce in Pullman, Washington. All right, stop doing that.
Yeah, stop doing that.
And then I might believe that cannabis prohibition is over. Stop arresting people for cannabis. Okay. I was pretty excited about the postal worker thing, though. Weren't you?
Funny.
That was funny. Fucking 8 postal workers busted for fucking stealing pot packages.
That's funny.
8 postal workers busted for stealing pot packages. They're like, oh, there goes a quarter pound. Beep! You know, and they live in a state where, you know, the cheapest is like $180, you know. There goes a quarter pound. Beep! Oh, fuck. We got to go ahead and follow that quarter pound down to the end of the line, the postal inspector says. And, of course, in the background, you notice there's a fucking towel on the floor where his office is at, you know. Yeah. With the door shut, the fucking towel on the floor and shit, man, because he's inspecting them fucking packages. That's funny as shit. 8 postal workers snatched up for fucking stealing pot packages at the United States Postal Service. Good job, Minnesota. That's so fucking funny. Hey, that sounds like my buddy.
That is Nathan James.
Nathan James. Okay.
He's a good player.
Yeah, sounds fucking phenomenal.
He did kind of sound like that.
So, yeah, stay tuned, kids. Stay tuned when it comes to fucking what's going to be happening in cannabis prohibition. 77 years of prohibition. These fucking big timber giants and big oil and big pharma dudes have held us hostage. But stay tuned. They're holding us hostage even further by giving the authority and over 40% of the tax to the authorities that kicked your doors in the 80s and shot your dog and broke up your families. So keep in mind that recreational cannabis is going to be paying a large chunk of their money to the cops. So every time you see a cop from now on, just remember they are the biggest cannabis dealer on the block.
I agree.
40%. 3 law enforcement agencies in our state will get 40% of recreational cannabis sales. Okay. Now, that makes the law enforcement agents in our state the biggest cannabis dealers in the state.
That's true.
And ask yourself, do fucking cops need more guns? Do cops need more fucking guns? You know, when they don't even know how to use their fucking tasers, they're shooting 9-year-old fucking kids with toy guns these days. You know what I mean? Do cops need more money? Really? You know what I mean? I think cops need fucking education.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, really? And I mean, serious. Fucking serious. I really believe it, man. You know?
What do you guys think? Send me a message through Facebook.
Do cops need more money so that they can fuel their war machine that they're already using currently against citizens that are, you know, involved in their little problem? I mean, really, think about that. I mean, they've already deployed National Guard is currently deployed in a couple different places in the United States as I speak right now. I mean, really, that's no new news. Not to anybody that doesn't know what's going on in the world, but I mean, when you start thinking about it, wait a minute. If National Guard's already been deployed against the citizens,
I know.
And what's the point? So grow fucking cannabis, smoke fucking cannabis, and wait with your big fucking gun until they come.
That's right.
And as my mother would say,
And lots of good food.
make love, not war.
Have lots of sex.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So with strawberry ice is going to be phenomenal. It's a phenomenal cut. It's going to literally punch strawberry cough right in the nose.
Right in the top.
I made it as a revenge, and I'm going to call it silent revenge because that literally is what strawberry ice in its development is. My garden club, I know most of the people that I've talked to, and I tell them, you know, and say, here, try this out. They're like, holy shit. That is just like a fucking a strawberry Halls.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, you know, it's called strawberry ice. Now, we don't need to tell everybody where strawberry strains come from, since they all come from Oregon. They don't come from Cali. They don't come from... I haven't seen very many anywhere else. Strawberry strains are ours. Why? Because there's strawberry fields all around us.
We're known for our strawberries.
Yeah, we're really known worldwide for strawberries. So
it's one of our like fruits.
Yeah.
Or you know.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Well, it was cherries for a while, and then it was
cherries.
nuts and hazelnuts and filberts and all that
Still
stuff. We still do a lot of those
but
things, but
strawberries really
strawberries is a big, huge production that we do agriculturally in our state, and so, and it is home of the strawberry strains.
Yep.
So, but with strawberry ice, she is going to be one of those indoor yielders and outdoor yielders like that. She's going to be one of those consistent things, just like Petrichor is, you know, and just like Twisted Brown Trucker. That's on our, like we had already discussed with Twisted Brown Trucker. We used another of our original 79 #1 cuts, and by taking the 79 #1 cut and bringing in phenomenal male aspect of pollen, you have once again let natural law take place, and you have a wonderful future with a bunch of new ones. And then from there it's a selection, because there you pop your first 100 seeds, and then from there you start winnowing them away until you find the right group of females, and then from there you can clone those females. Well, Amsterdam does it for like 2 years commercially, I wouldn't do that for 2 years. But, you know, also keep in mind that if you don't have that seed-based stock at that point, that's when you really want to start considering breeding and considering on, you know, how do you keep the continued line of what you're growing, you know, so you don't have to go buy it from somebody else. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I've got over 4,000 individual strains in seed stock, seed and pollen stock. And, you know, some of them aren't even currently, you know, most of them aren't even currently on the main market. So, you know, you can never say a clone is going to be better than a seed. Yeah, a clone is better than a seed when it comes to speed, how fast it takes you to develop a clone. But when you talk about genetic strength and you talk about yield and you talk about production, it is your seed stock that's going to ultimately win hand down over whether you're doing hydro, whether you're doing soil, aeroponics, I don't care. I don't care if it's the Egyptian hanging garden method. I don't care how you're rolling with it. You know, it's based on the plant and the grower's ability, knowledge, and know-how to ultimately produce. And so that's what we really put together with this thing, man. This is a collaborative group of growers, and we sat down and we smoked about a quarter pound of weed and you know, played a bunch of music, got drunk and stupid, and thought about the idea of what we were going to do, and we put it together, you know, and it was our knowledge and know-how to make that strain now a continued strain. We've got thousands of it stock, so metric tons of it in stock. So, yeah, man, you know, when you're talking about cannabis and what we're doing in its development, it's pretty amazing. And we're hoping that as our membership continues to grow and our supporters and our viewers that are watching, and, you know, hey, man, we thank you. Thanks for kicking it with us and spending time with us and shooting the wind. And I'm sorry about the chat situation here. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yes, but you can contact me through the Facebook.
Yeah.
Come straight to the iPhone and I can.
Yeah, you know, if you've got a question here, probably for the next few minutes, I'm gonna wait, and if you want to, you can ask her.
You can ask questions.
But to let everybody know, we do have seed stock available. That is currently available to our membership only, and you know, we do sometimes do some exclusive testers for individuals that want to try, but you know, those are all prospected individuals that we know and will work with. But, you know, if you're looking for seed stock, contact Ganja Goddess at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival at yahoo.com. Let us know what you may be looking for. Okay. What specific strains you may be looking for. And if you have a specific strain you need or you're looking for to have in your garden, contact her, and you know, at that point we will let you know if we have that available in our collection, in our seed catalog. We do have the state's largest seed catalog, and we will see what we can do for you, whether it's a sativa, an indica, or a hybrid. We have them all, so let us know.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go get me a warm up on my coffee. And if you got a question, anything that you want to field out, anything you want to field out right now, you can go ahead and field that out on our Facebook. Ganja Goddess is right here. She's going to go ahead and pick that up on her phone, and then I'll answer it right now. But I'm only going to do it for a brief period of time because I've got my guitar lessons I got to get back to.
Look at the lazy dog behind me. He'll be right back.
And I've been good.
I never know what to say.
And I've been good. All I ever got from
Look at how my hair is. It's getting very healthy. I take 2 Canicaps every day.
all I ever got from you. Forgive me, long as I've been you.
Coffee and bong rips.
Coffee and bong rips.
So, cannabis world. Don't be fooled by the package, man. Okay? If you're out there and you're thinking, fuck, man, you know, I can't afford cannabis as it is, or I'm having a hard time doing that, join Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club, and you'll never have to pay for cannabis again. You'll have so much cannabis that it'll be bleeding out your noses just by subscribing to the program, because it's a simple little method. Because what we're trying to do is get the message out there that you, man, why do we need to play this racket of wars anymore with our country right now, man, when you now have that independence in the state of Oregon? And don't think, oh, well, I'm limited. Well, you're not limited, because Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival has Sweet Leaf Farms. So if you join Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival and you get involved in that group, then you have a farm. So if you live in an apartment, say in Portland, or say in Eugene, or say you live out in the middle of nowhere, all you have to do is get on your telephone, go to your app, and look at your garden in real time with master gardeners that you know personally, that are personally handling your garden. That's already taken place in our garden club. So, you know, I don't know, man. It might benefit you to check it out, because as these things go legal with the state, you're talking $35 additional an ounce. So if you're not cultivating or growing your own cannabis, it's time to join a garden club like Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club. There's 4,700 members currently enrolled in the rolls. They are gardeners. They are cannabis connoisseurs. They are cannabis business members. They're cannabis dispensaries that have joined allegiance with our garden club, because they realize they're going to need a patient's voice, and our garden club is it, because that's all we've ever done is patient for patient all these years. Started with OMPAC, Oregon Medical Marijuana Patient Advocate Council, and then when our founder Larry Rathbun, whom we love very much, and we hope you get well, Larry. Larry Rathbun, our founder, who at the time decided, you know, we need to figure out a name that's, you know, that we can all kind of get along with, because we were growing. And so we decided, you know, Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club. And at that point, that's when we did it. And, you know, we literally are the state of Oregon's oldest and first cannabis garden club, LLC. So we're not a dispensary, so ain't gonna happen that way. Why do I need to sell weed when I can give it to you? See, that's the thing. Why do I need to be a dispensary when I can teach you how to have more cannabis than dispensaries have? And that ain't no joke, folks. You know, you can literally just reach on any table around your house and pick up, you know, nice big jars and roll out nice, decent nuggets and go, oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, that's a nice cut. I remember that cut, you know. But the thing is the only way to get into that independence is start starting to get involved with the people that are out there actively cultivating and actively doing something about cannabis's future. And it's not a suit and tie. It's not a fucking lawyer. I'm getting tired of that rhetoric with lawyers in suits and ties saying, "Oh yeah, we speak for the community." No, you don't, you fucking suit and tie fuck. You don't speak for no community. You don't speak for poor dude that's sick and can't even afford the medicine that he's been prescribed, but yet you're going to make it a little more expensive for him because you think that you're going to protect the children, even though this same substance has cured little kids of things like leukemia and cancer. We're all born with a cannabinoid system in our bodies. Our mothers, our very own mother's breast milk produces cannabinol. So, yeah, I'm going to be convinced that it's a bad substance. It's a bad substance, but our mother's breast milk produces it.
Our body has the receptors already there.
Yeah.
It's put on this earth for us.
And this weed, everybody goes, "Oh, well, it's cost too much." It won't cost you anything. It teaches you independence.
Yes, Tony, I know.
What?
Larry's in jail. I know.
And that's what happens.
What happens?
Big pharma wins every time, Everybody's going to be glitz and glamorized by the fucking cheeseburger society that we live in, and they're not going to fucking back around because there's going to be something brand new that's going to come around the corner, and it's totally going to fucking distract them, and it's going to blindside them, and they're going to get hit right in their face, and then they're not going to know what's going to happen, so it's just a vicious fucking cycle, man. It's a vicious cycle, It's this world that we're living on right now is a vicious cycle, man, and it's only getting crazier by the fucking minute. I remember back in the fucking early '80s when cops, if they didn't like what you were fucking doing, they would just jump your shit. You know what I mean? They wouldn't shoot your ass. And now we live in a world where little grandma gets pulled over and the fucking cop's coming out with his 9 cocked and rocked, ready to fucking blast granny in her car because
and I've seen it happen
of a broken taillight.
If it's on video, when I see it, man.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it doesn't happen.
Fucking happens all the time.
I'm not going to be surprised.
And it ain't a color thing, folks. Don't even fucking tell me that bullshit, man.
It's a human thing.
It's a fucking human thing. Cops are fucking killing humans. That's all there is to it, man.
And people are going and running around killing cops now.
Yeah, and people fucking are killing cops.
We just need to stop killing each other.
Yeah, and have a bong hit. Eat a bowl of cereal. Watch fucking Bugs Bunny.
Fuck. Hug your kids.
If you don't got kids,
figure out who belongs to
don't hug somebody else's kids.
Do some research. Figure out who their fathers are.
Yeah, man. Fucking,
Just kidding.
That's so fucking funny, man.
I watched Maury today.
I know. Oh my God, what a fucking fuckerton show.
That was funny. That's why I
Jesus fucking fuckerton.
This lady had, I'm not going to mention color or anything, race, gender. Well, gender, yeah, but color, I'm not going to mention it.
This Homo sapien.
She had like 8 kids and didn't know who the father of any of the kids were and had already tested like 50 men.
Let me tell you something. Here, let me tell you something, folks. If you know somebody that has 8 children, if you know somebody that has 8 children and they don't know who the father of any of their 8 children is, something is fucky. Something, either she got hit in her head too many times or something fucky happened, for somebody to say, "Oh, I got 8 kids, and I'm looking for their fathers because I don't remember who their father is. Did you have amnesia when you were in the process of brewing up those 8 children? And
she's now testing her 51st mans.
51 people?
That's a lot of.
Holy God, man.
That is a lot.
And what does my dog got? Let's see what my dogs have got to say about that. Let's roll over and look at my dogs. Let's see what my dogs have to say about the woman with 8 children who doesn't know who the fathers are.
Nope, not listening. Nope.
Yeah, no, not listening. Society does not fucking care.
That's Odin, and that's Hellbell behind him. And who's that right there? Is that Freya?
That's Freya. Society doesn't care back there, man. They don't give a fuck.
No. We are part of a pack.
Well, my society anyways doesn't.
American Bulldogs and a wiener.
51 dudes have been tested for a chick that thinks that somebody is the daddy of her 8 kids.
Somebody has to be.
How do you not know who the fucking father of your 8 children? I mean, how do you not know what the fuck, man? Did you just fucking fall asleep one night and wake up pregnant, or was it immaculate conception? You just don't. Or did you just get knocked out in your head or something?
It was multiple births of Jeebus.
Holy fuck, man. 8 fucking kids and you don't know who the dad is? Holy shit. That's some fuckerton shit there, man. My God, man. Holy God. How do you not know? I just can't get it past my brain, dudes. How in the fuck do you not know that you just got fucked 8 times?
No, 50 sometimes.
50 sometimes. You need to be fucked 50 times to have 8 children?
On the same night, 8
really?
times.
So you need to be fucked 50 times to have 8
kids? You can only get pregnant 1 time a month.
Holy one time a month. But what if you're pregnant? You can't get pregnant over a pregnancy, can you?
She had to test 51
Yeah,
people.
but can you you can't get pregnant over pregnant. I mean,
no, you can only get pregnant 1 time.
That's what I'm saying. What is this chick got 8 sacks, or some fucking thing, like an alien or some shit?
More than likely.
She lay her fucking eggs in the dark or some shit? I want to know. She doesn't know who the fucking dad is.
That's crazy.
At least my fucking kids know who their daddy is.
I'm glad I know. It's you, honey. It's always been you.
I'm telling you. It's fucking psycho. That's fucking crazy. It's kind of like this dude thinking, this guy was like thinking in somewhere back east, he was thinking, since the feds went ahead and said, that it's going to be legal for Indians to have weed, right? And stuff, right? They're going to, on reservations and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is legal in North Korea. They fucking use it over there.
They were saying on Pot TV today that Uruguay has failed their little experiment. I don't know what they're talking about, but that it backfired. The legalization of the country backfired in their face.
Why is that?
I don't know. I need to look that up.
Why did Uruguay's little experiment with cannabis backfire in their face?
I don't know. The president is sick or something.
The president is sick.
Have you heard anything about that? The Uruguay is regretting their decision to go legal. I haven't
seen that, man. I don't know, man. We're doing some fucking weird shit. Well, look at what we're doing with Cuba. Look at what's going on with Cuba, man. Look at what we're doing with Cuba. That's some trippy shit.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it makes sense considering our biggest business partner is the communists. Now, and then now socialists. That's, I get it. I don't really believe that, I don't know how to feel about that Cuban thing because I wasn't born. I wasn't really alive at the time when that disaster blew up in the 60s. But, I'm a kid of the 70s. That happened, after. Before I was born.
Yeah, before.
So, but So I don't really know how to feel about the Cuban thing, man. I do know that I've seen the damage to the Cuban citizens, you know, the people.
Well, they're still way behind the times.
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
They're still like in the 50s.
Very much in the background of darkness.
I mean, the best cars. Have you seen their cars? They still have
the
old cars that we really don't see much of nowadays.
So I guess something else is coming out. There's a new brand of cannabis coming out called Marley Natural. That's another little tidbit in the news that's coming up. You might be seeing it here pretty soon on your Facebooks and everywhere else. I want you to remember that you should probably do a little background search on Bob Marley Sr. And just take a good hard gander at some of his messages and his old speeches on cannabis and ganja, and you will find out that Marley Natural is just another one of those commercialized fronts, and it's going to be totally against what Marley would ever want for his family, you know. Because to him it was a sacrament. It wasn't something you should package up and sell and glamorize like that. It was a sacrament. So, you know,
Tony says he can't see us anymore. Our screen went black.
Really?
Check over here.
Our screen.
But he can hear you.
Our screen went black, huh? Anyways.
His did. Let's see.
Anyways,
I can hear you though.
You know. Is it black?
No. Are you talking? No, he's talking. Tony, it's your TV. It's your computer. I'm watching it on another device. It's you, Tony. Just reload your screen if you're still wanting to watch.
Yeah, Tony, if your screen's like, you might need to reload it.
Is anybody else having problems?
Yeah, if anybody else is having issues with viewership, let me know. We'll try to get it straightened out. We're going to be working on it. We're going to be doing some more stuff in the field anyways.
But I can see.
So. Anyways, we're going to end this show, man. I got to get on my guitar. I got some work I got to do on some songs I'm working on for the Hippies of Honky Tonk. Remember what I said, folks. One free plant. Free the plant, and the rest will follow. For all of our fans and friends and people that love and support Oregon Swoolie Revival Cannabis Garden Club and believe that medical cannabis patients should have a right to have a voice and should have a right to have a choice, please like and subscribe so that you can show your support to the medical cannabis community in the state. We'd appreciate that very much. Thank you, folks, and have a good night.
Toodles.
One free plant, folks. Sharing is caring.